Paul Finebaum addressed Tennessee's new situation recently. Paul Finebaum, the mouse of the South, who has been known for covering Alabama but did graduate Tennessee, gave Tennessee credit for moving on from Nico. He said it was the right call and talked about how they had already been held hostage to a degree by Nico Iamaleava and his people after going to bat for him about a year ago. They fought because the NCAA wanted to rule him ineligible. They gave him a chance, and he did help Tennessee get to the playoff. But as Finebaum said, the bigger story was beyond Nico. It was an inflection point in college football. It was the first time that there was a literal holdout. Happens every day in the NFL. And Paul Finebaum gave Tennessee a ton of credit for holding its ground and not playing him. And moving on from him. However, he does say it's time to worry about Tennessee this year. Paul Finebaum said, quote, recently, I think you have to worry about Tennessee. You have to be worried about Tennessee. Quote, I know that I'm not breaking a news story here, but what is the quarterback situation really going to be like? Listen, Aguilar is serviceable. They have two backups who have no experience, but I think that's a tremendous drop-off. He says later, considering Georgia's right out of the chute, at Alabama, at Florida, you have to be a little worried about them. So the combination of the quarterback drop-off and the scheduling, according to Paul Finebaum, is enough to be worried about Tennessee going into the 2024 season. Should there be worry about the Vols? Should there be greater worry about the Vols given the fact that Nico Iamaleava is no longer on the team? How much of a drop-off will be noticeable from Nico Iamaleava to Joey Aguilar? Okay. Bank on it. Brought to you by Commercial Make, member FDIC, Life Made Better. Tennessee does not need to worry about the drop-off at quarterback from Nico to Joey Aguilar and what that'll do to their team because of what can happen elsewhere. Bank on it. Brought to you by Commercial Bank, member FDIC. Tennessee does not need to worry about its quarterback situation.
Commercial Bank is your neighborhood bank. What makes us different from other banks? We understand that every customer has unique opportunities, challenges, and financial concerns. We don't expect you to fit into the same box as the next person or business. Whether it's purchasing a home, saving for your child's future, or planning for your next vacation, we're with you every step of the way to navigate life's big decisions. Commercial Bank.
Welcome back to the program, and I've got the poll question up. Is going from Nico Iamaleava to Joey Aguilar. Calls for Vols to worry about the 2025 season. Yes or no? Bank on it. I'm going to say no. Now, let me say this. Does not mean Tennessee is going to be a great season. That does not mean they're going to be elite. What I'm here to say is they're not going to fall off that much, if at all, from where they were before this switch happened. For two reasons. Actually, three. I'm going to go three. One, Joey Aguilar is a veteran. He makes quicker reads. That's good for Josh Heupel's system. Two, there's an argument, and Will West has made this argument, that Joey Aguilar is a better fit for Josh Heupel's system than Nico Iamaleava. And three, and this is a big deal, the money Tennessee has saved in NIL is going to allow them, and we talked about this last week, to add other players in the portal who could upgrade their talent. When you factor that in, even with the drop-off at quarterback, they'll have talent elsewhere that's willing to step up. And so I think that Tennessee doesn't need to worry overall, because I think the drop-off in quarterback play, even if there is a drop-off in quarterback play, will be outweighed by the talent they're going to get elsewhere. That's been something I've been big on the whole time about this situation. And again, there's an argument that Aguilar is the better player. Now, again, Travis says Aguilar won't be our starter. Travis, there's a very good argument that George McIntyre or Jake Merklinger will win the job. We heard about Jake Merklinger signing a new contract. It's very possible he wins the job. It's possible George McIntyre is the guy for the future. So we still don't know how this is all going to play out. However, truth be told, I think Tennessee is actually in a much more interesting situation than people realize. So I think Paul Finebaum is actually I don't know if he's right that you should be worried about Tennessee. I'm just going to be honest with you on that. I understand what he's saying. I get where he's going. Just the drop off at quarterback is going to make for an issue. But look, I don't think I think Josh Heupel's we talk about learning the system. Josh Heupel's system is actually very easy to pick up. Now, developing to play in college football may matter more, which is why he wants more experienced quarterbacks, because just adjusting to play in college football in general is tough. But learning Josh Heupel's system specifically is actually very easy for a quarterback. So you got to give him credit for that. Now, as far as the schedule goes, because he brought up Georgia, Florida, and at Alabama. Well, I'm going to be honest with you guys. And this is something that I felt was a concern even when Nico was there. I feel like there's nothing about those games that has changed anyway to begin with. Even with Nico, I felt that they were in danger against Georgia because Jamal McCoy has an ACL tear, and while he is expected to be back, I don't think he'll be 100% early. So I think he'll be banged up when they play Georgia, so that could wreck them. I think that Alabama and Florida both being on the road in October and November, both will be significantly better this year. I think with Nico, they probably already might have lost those games anyway. So there are reasons to worry about Tennessee and the Vols in 2025. I actually don't think the drop-off at quarterback is the reason for that, though. I think there are so many other things going on. Now, as far as the poll question, man, it is a 50-50 split. Is going from Nico Iamaleava to Joey Aguilar calls for Vols to worry about the 2005 season. 50% say yes, 50% say no. I think there's calls to worry about the 2025 season, but not because of going from Nico Iamaleava to Joey Aguilar, believe it or not. I actually really don't believe that. So I know that sounds crazy. I know you guys think that the big question would be the quarterback situation, but again, the fact that Tennessee play not a huge drop-off as expected, they could have a better fit for their system, and they saved NIL money, and they've been able to direct those funds elsewhere. I think when you put that all together, I think you got to be honest. I think Tennessee has a great chance to actually maybe even be better. Now, David Speaks says Syracuse will be a good barometer for how good a chance they have against Georgia. David, that's a great point. And guys, don't sleep on Syracuse as the opening game. Okay. I think Tennessee is going to win that game. I think they're like 3 touchdown favorites now. But remember, that game's in Atlanta, which is technically a neutral site. Okay, there'll be more Tennessee fans there. But Fran Brown is in his second season, and he just went in his first season at Syracuse, went 10-3. They finished in the top 25. And he did that with a team that was 6-7 the year before. So Fran Brown is already showing promise at Syracuse. And we're talking about a guy that great defensive coach. He has experience in the SEC because he was Georgia's defensive backs coach in 2022, 2023. And they also have a very, very good offensive coordinator in Jeff Nixon, who he found as the Giants running backs coach. But this guy did a very good job calling plays last year. Helping out Jeff Nixon to run that offense is Mike Johnson, who was actually in his third season at Syracuse, funny enough, but promoted to offensive coordinator. He's had experience at Florida Atlantic. He's had experience working under at Mississippi State and Joe Moorhead's offense. He's had NFL experience. So Fran Brown was running a very good program at Syracuse, guys. We have to look at them as a potential decent measuring stick for Tennessee as far as the poll question goes. Now, some people, it's about 53% say no. The drop-off will be calls from Vols to worry about the 2025 season. We're going to have to see how that plays out.